You have this idea of a hyperactive little child when you think of ADHD. It's called attention deficit. We can have a lot of attention on the right things, the things that we're really passionate about. It is a trait, it's not a disorder.
We are live with another episode of the AWE Digital Wellness Weekly Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Christian Dominique, and today we have a very special guest with us. We are here with Andrée Kenny, living in the United Kingdom at the moment. She is a ADHD and dyslexia coach at Neuropathways, a holistic practitioner who specializes in ADHD, dyslexia, and emotional regulation.
Thank you very much, Christian and Mark, for having me on the podcast. When I was diagnosed with dyslexia, my retention of information, I kind of really did find that challenging. I had this feeling of, I feel I'm not stupid. I actually cried at the time, if I'm honest. And it explained a lot in terms of how I used to study at school and how I was always putting in extra time to keep up. So that was a real awakening for my brain. Fast forward to around COVID and lockdown, and I had to be re-diagnosed with dyslexia for the second time. But in doing that, I was also diagnosed with DCD, dyspraxia, the old term. For a lot of people, and I explained it earlier myself, you have this idea of a hyperactive little child when you think of ADHD. It's not quite that completely, although the first people to be actually diagnosed were boys. And up to the 80s, they thought it was mainly boys had ADHD. Obviously, it's called attention deficit, which is something that isn't quite correct because we can have a lot of attention on the right things, the things that we're really passionate about. It's not quite a deficit or a disorder, I personally think. There's a gentleman called Edward Hallowell in the US, and he talks about calling it VAST, variable attention sustainability trait, I think. Our attention is variable. With our dopamine, it can be harder to concentrate on things for long periods. And it is a trait, it's not a disorder. It's all about that dopamine in our brain. It's not that we're lacking it, it's the reuptake of the dopamine in the brain. We have a bit and then it kind of leaves. So our attention span can almost be a little bit shorter, and we need that urgency for our attention, the interest. It's an actual rejection or a perceived rejection. It might be if your boss is giving you feedback and you're thinking, I'm not good enough, I've worked really hard on this. And the amount of emotion that can come with that, it can be like a volcano where you just get so angry and it comes out so quickly you don't know what's happened. Or it can be the opposite, you can internalize it and feel very almost wounded by it. It's very much almost that nervous system being so sensitive to what the person is saying to them. And it might even be a look, it might not be verbalized. You read the cues with the rejection sensitivity. There might not be anything wrong. You're perceiving it as it could be something wrong. I've worked with a client in the last few days who's really felt this has been a big part of their life. They said in the relationships, they weren't always aware it was coming. It could be very big, it could be very emotional. So what I always recommend to people, if that happens, just say to the person, look, I am really sorry, but I need to go away and process this for a few minutes. I will be back. And then at least you give yourself time to kind of regulate, take a few breaths, think about really what has happened, and then come back and have a calmer conversation. ADHD is around since 1798, and it was called attention deficit back then. Fast forward here to the UK. Have you any idea when our national health system first recognised ADHD in adults? 2008. It's not even 20 years old here. We now know adults can have it, but it's presenting more in men again. Around 2015-16, there was a lot of studies done on hormones in women with ADHD, and then how that was showing up differently in women. Girls of my generation, I'm in my 50s now, you were always told, sit down, be good, behave, don't do that, behave this way. So you end up overcompensating as a female, and you kind of mask then to kind of fit in. Some women might see traits of it after they've had a baby, so postpartum, and the first sign there could be that they get postnatal depression because their estrogen is so low. So then you move on to perimenopause and menopause, and for women, what I normally see, and I can actually relate to this myself, your systems fall apart. So you've managed everything, just about managed. You're thinking some women have kids, career, and they have 100 and other things going on, and they're trying to manage this. And suddenly, with the lack again of estrogen in the body that helps you produce your dopamine, they just can't concentrate. The brain fog is exceptionally heavy. Things that worked the way they planned and organized before, it just doesn't happen for them because of the lack of dopamine. That's how it differentiates from women to men. There's a lot of masking for women, so it just goes unrecognized until there's really bad hormonal issues, probably perimenopause for a lot of women. I had a lot of burnout before it happened, and then it got worse when I went into perimenopause. So I think that's very good for women to understand as well. If you're burning out a lot, why are you burning out a lot? Is it taking you a long time to come out of that burnout? Because the way somebody with ADHD recuperates from burnout is very different to someone who's neurotypical.
Thanks so much, Andrée, and wishing everyone a great weekend and a neuro-curious weekend for everyone. Whatever your brain is, be curious, have fun.
Thank you.